So today this video is going to be focused on intonation and warm-up. Those two topics relate together for me because usually a period of warm-up is required for me to achieve acceptable intonation or get closer to acceptable intonation. So how much warm-up is required for getting acceptable intonation will probably vary depending on who's doing it. A very experienced violin player that's been playing for years and years might not even need to warm up at all to get good intonation. He or she may still do it just because it will, get them nice and comfortable. But I require what I consider to be probably too much warm-up, and I'm working on that. The better my intonation gets overall, over time, the less warm-up I require. So I think I require less than I used to, but I still require too much. So this video is going to be focused on how much warm-up do I need to do before I feel comfortable playing a piece. Anyway, now I'll do some warm-up. Usually I start with just the basic scale. I don't go much higher than that. Then I just start doing some riffs. You can copy what I do or make up your own riffs. And see, that place right there in particular, that's where I need to be stretching, because using the fourth finger, you need to use that. And I'm really not good at using the fourth finger on the G string. But the more stretched out you are, you'll find that if you're playing and you've played for a while, you get more stretched out and you can hit those higher notes easier. And, the intonation continues to improve even when you start performing. Also, you're practicing warming up on your bowing, this wrist as well, not just your left hand. And so you're adjusting your bow. Maybe you didn't tighten it up. That's what you just saw. Maybe it wasn't tight enough. What I'm doing there is I'm stretching my fourth finger across three strings. As I said, my G string, I'm not very good at playing the fourth finger on that. start doing maybe some scales, some other kinds of scales, like, or riffs, you might call them, or also apprecios, but particular area of warm-up for intonation that I like to make sure I'm getting comfortable with is the D to the C sharp, you know, where I'm going. Because I can get that wrong a lot if I don't practice it. Which is the A to the B flat. The E to the E flat. Then I work on some double stops. I do a little bit of simple double stops. I'm really not that good at them yet. The easiest double stops to do, well, obviously the easiest one to do is the one with 2 open strings. That's kind of a no-brainer. But again, you're getting your bowing all straightened out too, you know. You're kind of going. That was, notice, it was up a little sharp there. So the easiest is obviously 2 open notes. The next easiest is where you have 1 open note and 1 that you're pressing down. And then the hardest are 2 notes pressed down. So those are some double stops. This is a harder one. That's a whole area that I haven't explored nearly as much as I would like to. Just doing double stops all over the neck. And I think there's a video out on that where they'll show you all the double stops. That string seems to have gone out of tune. So anyway, I think you get the idea on double stops. But there's also the minor, getting in the double stops in minor keys. that's what you want to do. If you're warming up, you might want to hit minor too, especially if your repertoire is minor. If you're warming up for bluegrass, very little of that is minor. But if you're warming up for other kinds of music like Eastern European, you're going to get a lot of minor. So. So I've done a little warming up. I don't know, I've been doing this probably, what, 10-15 minutes? I'll count later. But anyway, now I'll try a piece. I wonder if this warm-up helped me with this piece. This piece is called Humoresque. Now the ultimate warm-up for a piece, at least after you've warmed up in general, is the piece itself. So you could say, okay, you're practicing the piece before you play it. But you may not have that luxury, and so maybe you had the luxury to warm up, but you didn't get to do the piece. But here's one that I'll do. It's called Humoresque by Dvorak. It's a classical piece. It's kind of a beginning classical piece, but I've seen very advanced violinists do very advanced versions of that song. I can't tell you what's going to happen here. It might be a total train wreck. Goes like this. So, as you can see, I kind of botched that up in certain places, and then just I added some of my own improvising at the end of it. And I don't know if that would be helpful if you've done something like that in a live performance. I don't know if that would be helpful to help them forget those mistakes, or if it depends how strict classical of an audience you have. If you're trying to do this in front of a real classical audience, that might be a horrible thing to do for all I know. I'm kind of basically a pop, you might call me a pop musician or a pop rock musician. So anyway, that's about it.